Hi, I'm Marshall Jones. I'm the managing editor of InfoNews.ca. I'm here with our Kelowna reporter, Rob Monroe. And Rob, despite the lovely picture in my background, it has been very cold here over the last 3 or 4 days. It's been a very strange winter to the beginning of this long, mild stretch where we didn't even get snow till the new year. And now we got this cold snap, and you're hearing about some potential impact in the wine industry. What have you got?
The cold temperatures devastated the wine vines last year. There's about 45% of the vines were irreparably damaged. And the Summerland Research scientist I talked to says, from what he's seen today on his grapevines, it's possibly worse than last year.
Oh,
Now, there's a lot of microclimates and differences around different parts of the valley, but he's saying that anything minus 18 or for 6 hours basically kills the buds, minus 25 kills the buds, and the concern now is they've also killed the plants.
now, are we
And
talking all different kinds of vines here, Rob? Like, or what are we
it's
talking about here?
it seems, and I'm not any expert on varieties, but there are certain vines that are much more susceptible to the cold. Most of these are from European stock. The Southern European, like the Spanish ones, are more susceptible. I think some of the red ones are more susceptible than the white ones. More Germanic, northern ones are more likely to survive.
So is this damage that we've seen? Does this apply to all sorts of vines, or mostly these warm climate plants?
There was a huge range in the amount of damage done to different varieties last year. So it depends very much on what the variety is. There's areas like apparently Naramata Bench was well protected. I'm told that the wind blew the right way last year, but it blew the other way this year. So they may not be as lucky as they were last year.
And if I recall, last year there was nobody too eager to come and tell us exactly how much damage there was or exactly what's going on. I presume just from, driving around here that a lot of the vines that I've seen taken out, some of that could be just regular replanting, but I presume a lot of it is uh replacing dead vines.
Yeah, it takes a while. It'll take 2 or 3 weeks to really get a handle on the extent of this current damage. It could be well into the spring before we
I,
really know.
I I mean even just still making up for losses last year that we've seen.
Yeah, and I asked this guy, any new plantings they did last year, they were susceptible to the cold. He doesn't have any new plants on his property, so on the Summerland Research, so we're not sure. But that's another impact. There's still much more to learn about it.
Wow. You've seen something else recently here in terms of perhaps how the wineries themselves are responding.
Yeah, I was chatting with someone on the weekend who said something like 51 wineries are for sale in the Okanagan. I checked with a realtor, a guy named Paul Graydon, who is OK Wine Guys. He owned Saxon Winery in Summerland, got into the business, out of that business and into selling. He has 31 properties listed on
31.
his site, and there's another, he says about 50% of the people that contact him don't want to be identified in any way. So that number of 51 he thought was pretty bang on. There's about 200 wineries in the valley, so that's about a quarter of the wineries are for
The
sale
entire Okanagan?
in the Okanagan, about 200.
1/4 of the wineries are for sale.
That's what it looks like, yeah.
Oh
And
dear.
it's not just, I mean, the crop damage was huge, but there's a whole bunch of other factors that he listed. The interest in alcohol consumption is going down.
Young
Uh,
people not drinking as much.
yeah, and we're doing stories on people opening alcohol-free bars, I guess. Um, the price point, those that are drinking tend to be younger. They don't want to spend $15 for a bottle of wine, but these are premium and ultra premium products that are produced here. They're 15 or $25 to $50. I was in a liquor store recently. Their featured wine was a $7 bottle of wine from Chile, and apparently it's quite good. So it's getting that premium market is very difficult. He was saying Chile, they're probably paying $1.50 an hour for labor. We have minimum wage goes up. Here, that's very hard. There's a shortage of labor. There's a shortage of bank financing. If you post a mortgage, if you get the money, banks are reluctant to lend it, so they're charging, he said, 2 or 3 times the rate to borrow that money. So some of these have been for sale for years.
Yeah.
And all those factors that make it people want to sell also means people don't want to buy. They want to come in and says, show me a property, a profitable winery that's desperate to sell. Well, if it's desperate if it's profitable, why would it be selling, let alone be desperate to sell?
Yeah.
And that, so it's going to be extremely difficult for them. They've got some are not producing any crop or any wine this year because they didn't grow any. And if they're in a state winery, pretty well everything they grow has to come off their property.
That's
So
going to be difficult. Okay, well, you can
really
follow
bad.
this. Say again?
It's going to be really bad.
It's going to be really bad. Okay, well, we'll continue to follow this story. You can follow it with us here at infonews.ca.